You have been fed lies, lies disguised as words of sympathy, loyalty, and self-sacrifice. You were taught to be kind, open, and accessible. But accessibility is vulnerability, and in our world, those who are too accessible become used rather than respected. You waste time checking in, showing up, explaining yourself to people who will not even notice your absence. This is the first crack in your strength, as you scatter your energy instead of concentrating it like a weapon. Machiavelli knew this long before modern psychology tried to soften the truth. A person who dissipates their attention loses the game. Every time you explain yourself, every time you engage in a battle that is not yours, you become exhausted. And for what? Approval and validation are currencies without strength. If you want to be feared, respected, and untouchable, you must become the center of your own world. This is not selfishness. It is strategy. The weak call it narcissism because they cannot handle someone who does not bend to them. But true strength is silence, focus, and inner composure. You do not need permission to isolate yourself and build. You are not obligated to explain why you cut out distractions. The moment you realize that your mind is the only battlefield that matters, life will start to align in your favor. Focus exclusively on yourself, not out of hatred or spite, but because you have finally seen the truth. No one will come to save you. No one will gift you strength, and no one will feel your pain like you do. Your transformation begins the moment you reclaim your energy from the crowd and direct it towards creation. The more you focus on yourself, the louder your silence becomes, and that silence frightens them. If you are ready to stop the chase and start building, tell yourself this right now. I will no longer beg for attention. I will become the reason they crave it. This is just the beginning. In the first part, we will strip away the mask of distractions disguised as love and loyalty, revealing how they were created to keep you in weakness. The first is the illusion of loyalty. How do they hook you with care? They do not need to chain you to control you. It is enough for them to convince you that they care. This is the most effective trap. False loyalty disguised in emotional words. They say, I am always here for you. But as soon as your priorities change, watch how they disappear. Observe how quickly that loyalty evaporates the moment you stop playing by their script. What they call friendship is often just a disguised dependency. You keep people close because they once made you feel seen. But that feeling comes with a leash. You hesitate to grow because you fear it may hurt them, make them uncomfortable, or provoke jealousy. Therefore, you diminish yourself. You suppress your ambitions to protect their comfort. This is unfaithfulness. This is slavery. And this is psychological warfare, for which you were never prepared. Niccolo Machiavelli warned about this centuries ago. The most dangerous people are not always your enemies. Sometimes the closest people turn out to be those who slowly drain you while wearing a smile. They demand your time, your presence, your emotional energy, calling it love. But as soon as you say no, they perceive it as betrayal. This is not love. This is control. If you do not break free from this, you will bleed out your future. You cannot grow if you are constantly babysitting other people's egos. You will not rise if you are afraid of being misunderstood. And you certainly will not transform into anything powerful if you continue to drag along a dead weight tied to your past. Every second given to a person who does not build a future with you takes something away from your empire. Your silence is not cruelty, it is precision. Let them call it coldness, let them call it selfishness, and you call it strategy. If you are ready to break free from emotional slavery and build something real, think about this. Their loyalty was a cage. My freedom is now ruthless. The second truth: destroy the past. Transform or remain powerless. You are not who you were 5 years ago. You are not who you were last year, not even who you were this morning. But if you continue to drag along an outdated identity, do not be surprised when the results remain the same. The past lives only because you continue to feed it with your thoughts, speech, and choices. You tell people stories about who you are, but these stories are prisons. They are chains that you forged for yourself in childhood out of fear, and you keep polishing them as if they were made of gold. The world does not hold you captive. You hold yourself captive. You keep showing up in the world as the person others expect you to be. The good guy, the helper, the person who thinks too much, apologizes. This image brings only rejection and disappointment because people already know your role before you even speak. Predictable people are forgotten. Want transformation? Then disappear. Burn the script. Return to the world with a mask of mystery, a bag full of silence, and eyes that no longer ask for permission. Machiavelli did not wait for the world to recognize his worth. He created systems that forced the world to adapt to his power. He knew that transformation is not vanity, it is survival. Do you think consistency makes you reliable? No. It makes you easy to understand, easy to use, easy to eliminate. True power lives in unpredictability, in being different, in evolving so rapidly that enemies no longer recognize you. Your former self becomes untraceable. You owe the world no explanations. You owe yourself a revolution. Let the weak cry about how you have changed too much. Let acquaintances ask for the version of you that gave them comfort. But you are developing in silence. You are moving in the shadows. You are erasing your past with excuses and unrelenting actions. When they ask what happened to the old you will answer, "He died when I realized that I am important only when I am useful." And this is your key to freedom. Become so powerful, so focused, so quietly dangerous that people feel the change when you enter a room. This is not selfishness. It is a designed presence. And this happens only when you stop clinging to your past self. Kill your past, bury it deep, because the person you need to become does not require approval. He needs isolation, silence, and a warrior's dedication to purpose. Write this down now if you are ready to burn your old identity to the ground. My past no longer owns me. I am building what frightens them, because in the next part, we will delve into emotional detachment. And why is the ability to not feel at the right moment the deadliest power you will ever acquire? The third emotional detachment. How to become invulnerable without losing your feelings. Most people are slaves to their feelings. Anger governs their words. Fear dictates their decisions. Desire controls their attention. And then they wonder why they are so easily manipulated. Once someone can predict your reaction, they own you, and once they can provoke an emotion, they can use it for their benefit, not yours. You were taught that deep feelings make you human. But no one told you that it also makes you weak if you do not learn to control them. Emotional detachment does not mean that you feel nothing. It means that you feel, but choose which emotions serve you and which are discarded like a broken sword in battle. Because when you are emotionally reactive, you are not living. You are being controlled. Machiavelli once said that a wise man should appear merciful, faithful, humane, sincere, and religious, but internally be the opposite when necessary. Why? Because the world rewards appearance, not sincerity. Emotional detachment is your armor. When the world demands that you react, break down, expose what troubles you, you remain silent, because a person who does not flinch at insult frightens those who rely on chaos. When someone tries to anger you, it is not personal. It is strategic. They are testing your most cherished possession. When someone ignores, disrespects, or avoids you, it is betrayal. It is information. And most of you turn this data into suffering. You beg for closure, seek explanations. You dive into what you cannot control, and in doing so, you hand them an emotional knife to wound you again and again. But when you detach, when you stop reacting emotionally and begin to study people like a strategist, you become impervious to their games. Insults roll off you. Attempts to provoke become pointless, and manipulations are so obvious that they are laughable. You become less dependent on approval and are not crushed by rejection. You find yourself at the center of your own gravity, calm, cool, and calculating. Emotional detachment allows you to say no without guilt. You can walk away without leaving doors open, burning bridges that only led to places you have already outgrown. Most importantly, it gives you space. Space for reflection, for recovery, for directing all your energy into strength, not into pursuit, explanation, or appeasement, but into absolute control over your reactions. Do you think being emotional makes you real? No. It makes you readable, predictable, weak. The most influential people you know, those who command attention with their mere presence, are not loud. They do not express their emotions. They are silent, and silence, once mastered, becomes a psychological weapon because it makes those around you wonder what you are thinking and fear your intentions. If you want to become unshakable, learn emotional detachment, not through indifference, but through selectivity, coolness where it is needed, calmness where it hurts, and focus when others lose their way. This is not emptiness, it is evolution. This is how you become a person who cannot be manipulated because nothing owns you, neither praise nor rejection nor pain. Write this down now if you are tired of being emotionally understandable. Let them affect everyone else. I am unyielding. Fourth, engineer your environment. Eliminate everything that weakens you. You think your mindset belongs to you, but it does not. You think your thoughts are personal, but they are programmed. Every sound, every voice, every screen, every room, all of it shapes your thoughts, your values, your aspirations. Your environment is not just the place where you live, it is what lives inside you. And if you do not control it, it will control you. Look around. Your so-called comfort zone is a psychological trap designed to make you weak. You sleep in a bed you do not deserve. You scroll through images that poison your mind and are surrounded by people who drain your focus. And then you call this normal. There is no war outside. The war is already within. The enemy is not external. It is your environment. Quiet, familiar, and designed to make you inconspicuous. Niccolò Machiavelli understood deeply that the power of a ruler lies not only in his will, but also in what he allows to surround him. Every object, every influence, every connection either contributes to your elevation or undermines it. Neutrality. No. The chair you are sitting on, the background noise, the friends you tolerate, the clutter on your desk, all of this either sharpens your mind or dulls it. Do you want to become untouchable? Then be obsessed with creating your own world, ruthlessly. Start with silence. Silence is your first tool, because without it, you cannot hear your strategy. Then, eliminating distractions one by one, every useless notification, every weak conversation, every room that reminds you of luck, clutter, laziness, or dependencies, remove, burn, replace it with a space that inspires presence. Your room is a mirror of your mind. If it is cluttered, then you are cluttered. If it is noisy, then you are noisy. If it is filled with meaningless things and empty entertainment, this is not a coincidence. It is a reflection. And until you clear this environment, you will remain stuck. You will continue to wake up tired. You will continue to crave dopamine. You will continue to confuse stimulation with strength, and they will laugh as they watch you sabotage yourself with your own surroundings. You think that watching motivational content for 10 minutes will change your life, but your room whispers weakness into your subconscious for 10 hours straight. Your desk, your walls, your phone, all of these send signals. Most of them say the same thing. Stay the same, be passive, do not change. And if you do not change this battlefield, you will not move forward. Now let's talk about people. Who do you allow into your energy? Who has the right to influence your day? If they are not disciplined, focused, and growing, why are they in your circle? You do not need permission to distance yourself. You do not need drama to leave. Just study their habits, their language, their thinking. And if it reflects your past rather than your future, quietly sever the ties, without arguments, without guilt. Strength lies not only in what you add, but also in what you remove. Remove comfort, remove chaos, remove weak voices. This is how you sharpen your focus. This is how you build a kingdom that no one can reach, because they do not even recognize the terrain in which you operate. And that is the essence. You were never meant to blend in with the crowd. You were meant to create a world that bends to your will. So stop apologizing for seeking solitude. Stop explaining why you disappear. Stop negotiating with people living in distraction. You do not owe them warnings. You owe yourself results. When you enter your room, your energy should increase, not deplete. When you open your phone, it should bring clarity, not confusion. This is a sign of a person who understands. The mind is programmable, and it is the programmer. Leave a comment if you are tired of allowing your environment to dictate your future. I do not conform to chaos. I create strength. Time is a killer. As seconds become masked, every second wasted is a betrayal. Not to others, but to yourself. You think time is flexible. You believe that later you will have more of it. You think that since you are young, time is on your side. But let me tell you a truth that most people understand too late. Time is not patient. Time is unkind. Time is a silent thief. Every hour you spend on trivialities, scrolling, waiting, reacting, is a blade against your potential. You were not born with power. You were not born with influence. You were not born with advantages. The only currency you had at birth was time. The only difference between the powerful and the forgotten is how they spent it. That is all. The same 24 hours, different discipline. The same hours, different obsession. The weak waste time. The strong invest it. And you had better learn to distinguish one from the other before the hours make the choice for you. Niccolò Machiavelli never wrote in haste. He planned, studied, maneuvered, because he knew that time is not something to be killed. It is something to be used as a weapon. Every minute can be sharpened into a strategy. But you let it slip away in conversations, on streaming services, in empty talks and useless scrolling. You call it rest. I call it suicide. Slow, painful, and completely avoidable. Here is the uncomfortable truth. You are not tired. You are distracted. You are not burned out. You lack structure. You are not stuck. You are simply wasting time on people and habits that do not contribute to your development. With age, the mind does not become stronger. It grows lazy without pressure. And the more you flow with mediocrity, the more your time becomes a leash rather than a ladder. Do you want a better life, discipline, control, and strength? Then start tracking your time like a king watches over his treasures. For every second either builds your throne or someone else's. And let me make this crystal clear. If you do not control your hours, you do not control your life. And if you do not manage your life, someone else is doing it for you. Look at your day. See how much of it is consumed by reaction rather than planning. You wake up and check your phone before your thoughts. You eat while scrolling through your feed. You walk while scrolling. You breathe while scrolling. Your time no longer belongs to you. It belongs to algorithms, advertisements, and digital distractions. This is not life. This is programming, where you are the product. But here's the good news. Time is loyal to those who are relentless. Once you cut out the excess, the unnecessary tasks, the false urgencies, the mental clutter, time opens up like a treasure chest. You will find hours where others look for excuses. You will create while others rest. You will evolve while they distract themselves and degrade. Because time does not care about someone. It respects only what you do with it. You do not need extra hours in the day. You need to eliminate what steals them. That means getting rid of people who talk more than they do. This means removing applications that only bring confusion to your mind. It means owning your mornings, protecting your nights, and guarding your schedule like a battlefield. Because that is exactly what it is, and only strategies survive. Discipline is not just motivation. It is exclusion. It is subtracting everything that delays your rise. If you want to wake up early, go to bed without distractions. If you want to develop a skill, turn off the noise. If you want to dominate in silence, let silence become your standard. Because while they chase approval, you pursue time. And that is why they will always be behind. Too late, too noisy, too lost. You do not need to move quickly, but you must move with direction. There is a difference between movement and progress, between busyness and danger. The world is full of busy fools running in circles, striving for comfort, burning daylight to feel productive. But the one who sits in silence, plans with clarity, and acts without emotion will be the one to win. And that is what you are becoming. Not a time-wasting, unproductive nerd, but a tactician, a strategist, who understands that the cruelest manifestation of self-love is to reclaim your time without apologies. You do not need to explain why you are unavailable. You do not need to feel guilty for turning off your phone. You do not need permission to protect your time as if it were something sacred, because it is. If you are tired of allowing your future to die from a single distraction, then tell yourself this right now. My time is a weapon. I spend it on strength, not on people. In the next part, we will discuss one of the darkest truths of Machiavelli. Why excessive help to others is not noble but dangerous, and how self-sacrifice turns lions into servants. The sixth is the trap of charity. Why does helping everyone destroy you? You were taught that being helpful means being good, that sacrificing time energy, and attention for others fills your life with meaning, that to earn respect, you must serve. But here is what you were not told. Most people do not respect generosity. They exploit it. And the more you give, the more invisible you become. Because in the real world, usefulness is temporary, and self-sacrifice is the quickest way to become unnecessary. You think that being reliable gives you power. But Machiavelli would laugh at that idea, because the person who is always available becomes the person who is never valued. You keep solving other people's problems, thinking that it strengthens connections. But in reality, it breeds quiet resentment. They accept your help, your advice, your time, and as soon as you say no, they call you selfish. This is disloyalty. It is dependency disguised as a mask. Look closer at who you are playing for when you overextend yourself. Who benefits when you put others above yourself? Not you, because while you are busy helping them pursue their goals, your own goals remain hungry. While you are fixing their chaos, your life remains stagnant. You have been brainwashed into thinking that saying yes makes you noble. But in the psychology of power, a person who cannot say no is not noble. They are weak, and weakness is always punished. The truth is harsh. The more you help, the more is expected of you. You teach them to take. You train them to drain you. And worst of all, you begin to feel guilty for choosing yourself. This is how deep the trap is. You get lost in their problems. You become a tool for their survival. You turn into a background figure in your own story, and they do not even notice. They just keep asking for more. Niccolo Machiavelli wrote about this dynamic. Rulers should be cautious with good deeds because the benefactor becomes the debtor, and those who receive help often feel entitled. This is what happens to you. Every time you intervene to fix what is not your responsibility, you lower your own status. If you continue to do this, you lose the only thing that creates power: rarity. Your time should feel precious. Your energy should be earned. Your attention should be rare. This is how value is created. Not by being everywhere, not by being everything to everyone, but by making your presence a privilege. When you act this way, people change. They rise to meet your standards, or they fall away. And both outcomes are exactly what you need. Helping people is not evil, but excessive help is. The difference lies in the fact that strength moves with intention. Weakness succumbs to them like a pulse. Help when it is strategically advantageous, when it serves your purpose, when it elevates you, not just them. But if you help out of guilt, fear, or a desire to be useful, then that is not help. That is surrender. You are not born to babysit chaos. You are not made to fix those who do not want to fix themselves. You are meant to rule in your own world, to evolve beyond the past, to manage your environment. And for that, a degree of detachment is required that the average person cannot comprehend. You help when it is deserved. You give when it is justified. You walk away without hesitation when it is not. Ah, you want to be feared, valued, respected. Then learn to say no without emotion, without apologies, without lengthy explanations. You are not here to be loved. You are here to win, and you will not win by giving to others until you are empty. You win by honing yourself to such a degree that your mere presence compels others to evolve or leave. Your kindness has been taken for weakness. Your compassion has been used as leverage. You have given your time and energy as if they meant nothing, but not anymore. From this moment on, you will help only when it strengthens power. You will give only when it multiplies the giving. You walk with those who carry their own burdens, or you walk alone. Write this down now if you are no longer willing to sacrifice yourself for those who never sacrifice for you. I am not a tool for the distracted. My assistance is earned, not simply given. Number 7 is quiet strength. When you minimize in a room without saying a word. Many believe that strength is loud. They think it is in the voice, in the speech, in endless words that try to prove something. But true strength does not try. It is not explained. It does not announce itself. It enters. It observes and it controls the room, even before uttering a single word. This is presence. The unspoken pressure of someone who does not chase approval. Someone who does not need noise to be noticed. You have seen this. A man enters, and suddenly the air feels different. He does not smile. He does not perform. He does not entertain. He is simply there, calm, unflappable, enigmatic. This is not charisma. This is control. Control over his energy, control over his emotions, control over his image. And this control makes the world adapt to him. This is psychological dominance without aggression. This is what you will master. Niccolo Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. The strongest men are often the quietest, because once you start to speak, you risk revealing something. You expose your thoughts, your position, your fears. But silence strategically. It creates tension. It creates mystery. It makes others wonder. And in those wonders, you gain strength, because you become a question to which they have no answer. Stop filling the space with noise. Stop explaining yourself before anyone even asks. Stop revealing your emotions through facial expressions, fidgeting, or excessive smiles. This is insecurity. This is insecurity disguised as friendliness. And the more you do this, the less you become. Presence is created when you are silent, yet express everything. When your body radiates calmness, your face remains inscrutable, and your energy says, I do not need to be here. I choose this for myself. This is where the average person fails. They try to be liked. They seek connection. They overexert themselves, talk too much, and share unnecessarily. Why? Because they fear being misunderstood. But a person who fears being misunderstood will never be respected. If you want people to feel something when you enter a room, stop trying to control their opinions. Start controlling your presence. Your energy enters before your words. Your posture speaks louder than your voice. Your eye contact conveys more than paragraphs. And your silence, it screams. When you master silence, you change the dynamic. Others speak to fill the discomfort. They reveal themselves, trying to understand you. This is how you win without confrontation. You allow them to open up, remaining a mirror they cannot decipher. There is nothing more frightening than a person who does not flinch. A person who hears an insult but reacts calmly. A person who is praised but does not shine like a puppy. A person who stands firm, focused, and composed, as if all their thoughts form a single clear line of strategy. Do you think this requires arrogance? No. It requires discipline, deep inner calm, control over one's emotions, desires, and the need to be noticed. Here is the truth. People are constantly scanning you. They observe how quickly you speak, how often you blink, how much you move, and how needy your energy appears. And most of you scream insecurity with every breath because no one taught you how to maintain presence. But now you know, now you understand that presence is maintained, not projected. And this happens only when your inner world is cooler, calmer, and more devoted than anything outside of it. You do not chase attention. You create gravity. You do not ask for space. You own it without asking. And this is not from ego. It is from mastery. Mastery of your time, your silence, your detachment. And when you lock this in, you will see how people nervously and respectfully adjust to you on a subconscious level. This is true power. Not what you say, but what they feel when you say nothing. If you are ready to stop giving away your power with words and command without noise, remember this. My silence speaks louder than their speeches, because in the next part, we will move on to the final transformation. Ruthless discipline of self-interest. Why is focusing on oneself without guilt the most powerful form of rebellion left in this world? The eighth, ruthless self-interest. Why put yourself first? This is the ultimate form of strength. They have convinced you that thinking of yourself is bad, that self-interest is selfishness, that focusing on your goals and ignoring the emotional chaos of others makes you a bad person. But let's clarify one thing. If you constantly put others first, one day you will wake up feeling empty, forgotten, and used. Not because they are evil, but because you allowed it. Because you believed that by sacrificing yourself, you would earn recognition. This is not true. It leads to insignificance. Niccolo Machiavelli did not teach people to be cruel. He taught them to be clear. Clear about the power of outcomes and human nature. And at the center of this clarity lies a law. People will use you as long as you make yourself available. Once you stop caring for yourself, they begin to think about what they can extract from you. This is not negativity. This is reality. If you do not build your life around this truth, you will be deceived every time. You were taught that selflessness is virtue, that you should drop everything when someone needs you, that your life should revolve around being useful to others. But let me ask, what happens when you need support? When you break down, when you remain silent, that is how you disappear, while the world keeps spinning. No advice, no rescue missions, just silence. It is at that moment that many men realize either you are your own priority or you are no one's priority. Self-interest does not mean harming others. It means refusing to harm yourself for their satisfaction. It means placing your goals, health, discipline, and future above their drama, distractions, and manipulations. Because you only have one life, and you are wasting it explaining why you have finally chosen yourself. Stop. You do not need permission to grow. You need discipline to protect that growth. Most people want you to remain soft, available, and constantly helpful. Why? Because that version of you is convenient for them. It makes their lives easier. But as soon as you stop coming to their aid and fixing their chaos, suddenly you become the villain. Suddenly you are seen as distant, selfish, cold. This is a sign that you are on the right path. Because by putting yourself first, you will inevitably offend those who are used to you putting yourself last. You cannot build an empire while babysitting others. You cannot conquer anything by explaining every step to those who have never built anything. And you certainly cannot transform if you are emotionally attached to people who fear your independence. So cast aside the guilt. Stop seeking approval and move forward with one truth in your spine. If it does not serve your purpose, it does not deserve your time. Self-interest gives you the strength to say no without debate. It gives you clarity to choose discomfort now for strength later. It gives you focus to maintain your solitude because you are building something that requires isolation. And such strength, such concentrated energy, makes people uncomfortable because they cannot control it. They cannot access it. They cannot stop it. Most men want to be loved. You are not like most men. You are not here to be loved. You are here to be remembered. And you will not be remembered if you try to be everything to everyone. Become someone who is remembered. Become a force that is unattainable, unyielding, undeniable. And this is only possible when you are focused exclusively on yourself with ruthless consistency. Let the world call it selfishness. Let them say it is arrogance. Let them not understand your silence, your distance, your boundaries. You are not here to convince them. You are here to win without their approval. Because in the end, strength does not need understanding. It simply moves forward, and those who cannot keep up are left behind to complain. So, the next time someone tries to derail you, ask yourself if it will benefit you in the long run or distract you from who you are becoming. If it is a distraction, get rid of it. If it is an emotional trap, walk away. If it slows you down, you already know the answer. You do not compromise with weakness. you eliminate it. Write this down for yourself now. If you are no longer willing to sacrifice your strength for temporary peace, I serve only my own goals. The final form. When you become a weapon for